hopefully have the opportunity to perhaps broaden the geographical parameters of today's debate and demonstrate that relocating teams and functions north doesn't necessarily require you to relocate teams and functions to the north. So we're obviously very proud to consider ourselves to sit in the Midlands. So sorry, just to recap who I am, Head of Business Development at the West Midlands Growth Company, so responsible for inward investment into Birmingham and the surrounding city region. So I think, as Tim touched on earlier, depending on how you can cut the data and potentially look at geographical boundaries, it's possible to make an argument that a number of the cities represented today have the largest economy or the largest and most developed professional services cluster in the UK outside of London. And clearly all regional cities have something to offer in terms of a compelling point of differentiation on cost versus the capital. So I'm not going to dwell on those points. What I'm looking to do is highlight some of the unique attributes of Birmingham in the West Midlands city region, and perhaps dispel some of the outdated misconceptions. So firstly, this is not a stagnant post-industrial economy. This is a region that has been objectively in resurgence over the last decade. So pre-COVID, in the 5 years up to the end of 2018, the West Midlands had boasted a 5-year GVA growth rate that had outstripped London and the South East. And a significant amount of that growth had been contributed by resurgence, particularly in Birmingham's financial and professional services sector. Major investments from the likes of HSBC, who have relocated the head office of their ring-fence bank to the city, and PwC, a testament to the level of opportunity for successful north shoring here. Certainly in HSBC's case, it was a reflection of the geographical weighting of their lending book, and particularly a reflection of where they'd observed growth in the real economy. Secondly, the West Midlands economy is not all about manufacturing. So whilst the region still clearly plays an internationally significant role in the global automotive, aerospace and rail supply chains, over 25% of our region's £102 billion economy and over 350,000 of the jobs here are contributed by the business, professional and financial services sector, over twice the amount contributed by all manufacturing sectors combined. And the majority of the work done within the region's professional services workforce is not low value, low skilled or back office. So particularly again in central Birmingham, the majority of our professional services employment already exists within the offices of major national and global firms. So, just to give an example, we have the largest combined regional presence from the big four global accountancy practices sat in central Birmingham. And estimates from the economic think tank City Ready, Raquel, who spoke earlier's organisation, their research suggests that over 60% of the work done in the sector in the region can be attributed to front office work performed for national and global corporates. So again, similar to what Tim described for Manchester, the vast majority of national and global firms that are based in the West Midlands offer a full service. Clearly, location-driven cost advantages enable a compelling point of price differentiation versus London, such that many of the major national and multinational organisations based in the region don't necessarily feel a compulsion to look to the capital for anything but the most niche advice. And that's really important for two reasons. Firstly, it reflects the fact that there is sufficient market opportunity here to sustain specialised expertise across the board. And secondly, because that deep and broad existing expertise can be tapped into by any potential future North Shorers. So obviously we want to look to the future in terms of potential opportunity for firms that are considering their future strategy and real estate strategy. I think undoubtedly our city region is emerging as a key location for future talent agglomeration in the UK. So not only has Birmingham welcomed more relocating Londoners than any other local authority in the past 5 years, but we also, as some of the other cities have described, have a world-class cluster of higher education institutions within the West Midlands, and include internationally recognised law and business schools at institutions like Warwick, Birmingham and Aston. And together, the 6 universities that sit within the West Midlands Combined Authority produce more business, finance, legal and STEM graduates than, to our knowledge, any other city region outside of the capital. Graduate retention rates are also materially improving, and we have strong reason to believe that that's a factor that will be accelerated post-pandemic. And in fact, a visible shift in preferred location for PwC grad scheme applicants presented one of the strongest pieces of supporting evidence to underpin their investment in Birmingham. In fact, the firm's largest ever European investment outside of London, when they made the decision to expand their Birmingham presence to 2,500 staff in 2018. So although competition for talent and a pressure to drive cost reduction in service delivery have historically been one of the kind of key underpinning determinants of North Shoring decisions. The pandemic will no doubt have focused the minds of many in attendance today that digitisation, automation, AI-led augmentation of service delivery will increasingly determine the winners and losers in the sector over the next decade. So in order to ensure that we remain relevant as a region and to drive productivity growth within the sector, we're advancing what we believe to be the country's first professional services technology cluster organisation. We're really excited that that'll be launching in January. So this body will aim to spur innovation, not just across fintech, legal tech, insurtech, prop tech, etc., but to really focus on the intersections of all of those sectors, to look to unlock opportunities for new thinking, business models, and differentiation in products and services. So the 2020s provided a unique array of opportunity for the West Midlands to bounce back from the impact of COVID and continue the resurgence of the last decade. The government has backed the West Midlands as the UK's first large-scale 5G testbed, and that will underpin significant opportunity for growth in fields like connected and autonomous vehicles. And in 2022, of course, Birmingham will fall under the global spotlight as the host of the Commonwealth Games. Later in the decade, HS2 will arrive in the city, and we're really confident that will underpin significant future development and a pipeline of professional service opportunity that will stem from that, as well as further investment in the region. And of course, until phase 2 of HS2 completes into the 2030s, providing that ongoing connectivity further north, Birmingham will stand alone as the regional city with the strongest connectivity to and from the capital. So with the depth, diversity, connectivity and scale that Birmingham and the West Midlands has to offer, and crucially, only a limited number of firms having thus far explored rollout of high volume, process-driven work doing delivery, particularly in the legal sector, we have a strong feeling that Birmingham remains a relatively underutilised resource in terms of talent availability and potentially primed to offer significant cost benefits for anybody willing to take that sort of first mover step in the sector.